Sometimes we get asked the question, why Brazil?
You know, really, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, just before we arrived in Brazil, there were terrible abuses being carried out against children. When we arrived in Brazil, children were being perceived as a nuisance because they were pestering people on the streets and pickpocketing and robbing tourists, hurting businesses. And the solution they found was to go out and hire off-duty policemen and other people to exterminate these children. There was actually a systematic campaign of extermination being carried out against these children.
We know that there are millions of kids on the streets of Brazil. And when a child is on the streets, the statistics tell us they have 3 to 5 years of life, and that's it. And even those 3 to 5 years are just absolutely marked by every conceivable kind of abuse and exploitation.
You know, these children have not had the opportunity to be children.
Our kids are true street kids, or kids that have been taken by the authorities out of the home because of abuse, or kids that have been prostituted and the police have picked them up. That's where our kids are coming from. It's not just that our kids are poor or that our kids are hungry. Everybody here is like that. Those kids aren't eligible for hope. Our kids are the true street children. But they come here, they get an education, they discover what it means to be family. One of the things that we talk about is their lives become normal. For these kids, that's really a miracle because they've never got to be kids before. They've never had the opportunity just to be normal. And that makes a real difference. And it's changing their lives, it's transformational. They've never known anybody to care about them and love them and to embrace them in a way that is positive and to provide for them. And one of the neat things is to see the change that happens in their lives when they come and they get to hope. And it's not something that takes months and years to see happen. We often see it happen in 48 and 72 hours. All of a sudden, this child that had been afraid, because provision is being made for them, and because their lives are being touched, and because there's just a wholesomeness to the place, you know these kids are seeing life in a different way, and they're happy. You see these kids running and laughing and playing and turning flips on the playground. And you think, those are the same kids that were living under the underpass? That was a little girl whose father raped her every night? That was a teenager who was forced by her mother to turn tricks in the street? It's the same child, but it's not the same child because their lives have been transformed. For the kids of Brazil, for the kids that are on the street, we are their last chance. That's why we're in Brazil. We're in Brazil because we're the only chance these kids have.